everybody, it's Cheryl and Eric from Cruising with Cheryl and Eric.
And today we're going to talk about how to plan a cruise for multiple generations. Trying to plan a cruise for 70-year-olds and 50-year-olds and 5-year-olds all on the same trip can be, let's call it challenging. So let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead.
All right. Choose a ship with activities for all ages, like water slides, clubs, and kids enrichments.
For adults.
For adults. I'm sorry, I'm a little tired today.
So you want to look at cruise lines that are designed to handle, like, let me give you an example. Cunard Cruise Lines. Beautiful cruises, cruise ships. Lots of great itineraries, but not exactly a whole lot to do for the kids. So start by looking at your major cruise lines. Royal Caribbean, Carnival, NCL, Disney. Well, yeah, can't forget Disney. But you want to look for ones that have great kids clubs. Look for ones that have, honestly, find ones that'll keep the kids happy. And I think it'll be a lot easier to find ones that the adults will have things to do as well.
Yes.
If that makes, yeah.
It kind of made sense.
Okay, good.
I knew what you meant.
At least to me.
Yes. So then you're going to look for cabins that accommodate 3 to 4 guests comfortably. If there are, you could always do a suite.
Right.
Which can accommodate 6 people, 7 people.
Well, it depends on the suite.
But
up to, they have 3-bedroom suites.
Okay. But if you have a little one that has to be in a crib, you have to make.
Yeah.
You have to think about that first.
And arguably, at least in my opinion, 4 full-size adults in one cabin is going to be a challenge. Can it be done? Sure. It's going to be a challenge.
Unless you're used to schedules.
Well,
which
that's
it could
true.
work
Yeah.
that way. But I would not do well in a cabin with 3 other adults.
No.
Not going to lie.
Next tip, pick a cruise line that has flexible dining options, because you're going to have people with varying taste, varying, mealtime needs, so you don't want one that's, okay, we dine at 5:30 or we dine at 6:30 and that's your only option. You want ones that, breakfast can be anywhere from 6 a.m. to 10 a.m. depending upon what location, and lunch from 10 to 4, and then dinner arguably from 5 to 11 p.m. You want ships, arguably larger ships, more options, more menu options too, because grandmom and grandpa aren't necessarily going to want to eat the same things the 5-year-old does. Okay.
Or at the same time, the 5-year-old does. If the little ones are on the schedule and you're trying to keep them on that schedule.
Correct. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just be considerate, or don't eat dinner every night together.
Right.
Split
exactly.
it up. Do what works best for you. Sorry.
No, you're good. Next tip: select a ship that has plenty of elevators and handicap accessible staterooms. Obviously, you're not going to expect grandmom and grandpop to, walk up the stairs from the 5th deck to the pool deck. That's just not going to happen. And you want ones, that if they need a scooter, if they need a wheelchair, that, there are handicap accessible staterooms to make it easier for them.
And you can also do that when you're booking your cruise, or just even looking into it, just if you don't know the ships.
Well, yeah, there are plenty of websites that have deck plans available. Any decent travel agent is going to, be able to guide you towards, cruise ships, cruise lines that are more friendly when it comes out to that kind of thing. So next up.
So consider a cruise line with stops for generational, friendly ports. So if you have a history buff of a teenager, are you going to want to have them skip an excursion on that island? But if people don't want to get off the ship, you don't have to. It's just, again, multi-generational multi-generational.
Different ports have different activities. There are some ports in the Caribbean where basically if you're not into adventure, there's not going to be a whole lot for you to do. So you might want to skip the, I can't even think of one off the top of my head, but when you're looking at the ports of call, look for ones that have historical tours, cultural tours, as well as, zip lining or,
open air tour buses.
Right, I'm thinking water sports like jet skiing, things like that.
Waterfalls too.
Yeah. Next tip.
You also have to be careful about ports that are super party going.
Right.
Right. There are several ports that are like that, and you just want to be considerate of other people around you.
Remember, we're talking about them booking the trip for a multi-generational family, not about the people around them. We're talking about them and their activities for their family.
Your general people that you're going with.
Next tip: book adjoining staterooms so the family can be near each other. We did this when my kids were young, and it made it more fun because the kids were able to bounce back and forth between grandma and grandpa's room and our room, and if you can book near each other, it makes coordinating the groups easier because as anybody that has tried to coordinate a trip for more than 4 of you, it's like herding cats. So, you got to do what you can to make it easier.
Research ships with free childcare programs so adults can get private time, whether that be hanging out at the pool, having a few drinks, going
dancing the night away, whatever.
Whatever you want, but just research those with free child care.
Next tip: choose cruises that have senior citizen discounts. Cruises are not cheap. Why not? Everything else considered, if you can find one that gives you an AARP discount or just a senior discount, why not take advantage of that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Find ships with designated family lounges and gathering spaces. For example, children are not allowed in the solarium on most ships. Therefore, even if it's a baby, they just don't encourage it. So you just have to be aware of that.
And they're in the newer ships. A lot of the newer ships, they do have, lounge spaces just for families to hang out in. So you don't have to be, in the library. Well, most ships don't have libraries anymore, but there are areas where you can go and you can let the kids be kids and relax, and you can sit in a deck chair or sit in a chair and see them, and they're off having fun, but they're still within visual range, so you can keep an eye on them, make sure that they don't get into things that they're not supposed to.
Yes. Number 10 is select an itinerary with opportunities for all to do excursions together or separately. Kind of touched upon this a few minutes ago, but again, being respectful, knowing the likes and the dislikes of the people that you're going with, your family members, in-laws, whatever the case may be, it's important.
Like, as an example, say that most of the people in the group are history buffs, and you're going to go to, I don't know, let's say you're going to Rome, Civitavecchia. Plan one excursion where everybody's going on that same excursion together, and you're going to go tour the Colosseum or Vatican City or whatever that excursion is. Try and plan one where everybody's invited. Now, some people aren't going to want to go regardless. So, put it out there, let them know that the group is going to do this. If they don't want to go, that's on them.
And they also have, most ships have the excursions of moderate, the activity level on it.
There you go. Yeah.
So if it's going to be hiking, climbing, and walking, and you have to push somebody in a wheelchair, or if somebody's in a scooter, it may not work for them. So and they actually tell you on your excursions what to expect, what not to do. So again, do your homework. So you're going to...
So yes, we have talked about this one, but it's important. That's why I included it twice. Make sure that you get family-friendly cabins. If you can, if there's a large group of you, get a suite. Get a 2-bedroom suite if you can swing it, or at the very least get a cabin that has a sitting area. Just because kids need space. They always, adults seem to know how to, condense space, condense what they need. Well, some adults, but kids, they don't know that yet. So they're going to be sprawled out everywhere. They're going to be laying on the floor playing with their toys and coloring and doing whatever. So the larger the stateroom you can get for them, the better off you're going to be. The more fun it's going to be for everybody.
Yes. So next, you're going to want to choose ships with a variety of evening entertainment options, whether you're into it or not. But again, if you have free childcare or discounted childcare, if the older folks are going to stay and watch the kids, or you tag team and have people switch off, you're going to want something to do, or even just downtown, honestly. But again, there's a lot of entertainment options on ships, and you can pick and choose if you're going to go to a comedy show or whatever the case may be. But that's on you.
Consider cruise lines with programs and events that are just for the older people. Trivia games, bingo, things like knitting. There are a lot of ships that have activities specifically scheduled, not just for the kids, but also for the grandparents.
But you can also do those types of the knitting, crocheting. There's something for everybody, because a lot of younger people
if you
like
pick the right ship. Yep.
Yes, a lot of people like to crochet and knit now. So there's that, play cards, whatever. You're gonna pick ships. You would like to possibly consider picking ships with promenade decks and outdoor spaces for family time.
It's important to have. You're on a ship in the middle of the ocean. You're going to have most likely at least one, if not 2 or 3 sea days where you're basically stuck on the ship. So you need some space for the kids to run around, for them to not be cooped up in the room or in the theater all day. They need to
burn off some of that energy.
Yeah, exactly. Otherwise, you're all going to pay for it.
Yes.
Research cruises that have teen clubs and kids programs split into different age groups. This is to me really important, because if you've got a teenager, say a 15, 16-year-old, and you've got a tween, and you've got a 7-year-old or an 8-year-old, one size fits all does not work for the kids clubs. You need programs that are specifically designed for, say, 13 or 15 to 18 and 12 to 15 and 8 to 11, that kind of thing. Because the right cruise lines that put together these varying groups, the activity and the way they do things and the way that they talk to them is totally different, And any of us who, you can't, those of us, I don't even know how to say this. If you're a parent and you've been around kids, that you can't work with a teenager the same way you can work with a 10-year-old. They require different. What's the word?
I'm going to say glare, because my mother will shoot us and look, and we just went right back into place. I'm not going to lie. Yes. You're going to want to book early to secure ideal adjoining or connecting staterooms. A lot of cruises, since COVID restrictions pretty much have been put by the wayside, are selling out quickly.
Yes. Yep. The average book time is now 15 months.
And even if you, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
If you look into it and you don't jump on it at that time, there's no guarantee that when you do pull the trigger to book that trip, that those rooms are going to be available. And then you might not want to be in the same vicinity of your family members.
Yeah, that's possible too.
It's a little bit of everything for everybody.
Your family better. You have to invite Uncle Jimmy, because otherwise it would cause a battle within the family. But you don't want to be anywhere near Uncle Jimmy
when he drinks.
Well, or when he snores, because you can hear it four rooms away, or whatever the case is. So you put Uncle Jimmy on the other end of the ship.
Yes. So you're going to want to, and most parents that travel with little ones, whether it be by plane, train, automobile, you're going to want to pack games, books, movies to enjoy together in the stateroom. On the last few trips, other than the Virgin Cruise Line, the employees will ask you to be respectful, especially on an airplane when traveling with little ones Um, when traveling with little ones, to be respectful of those around you and not having it super loud. So
Headphones,
yes.
But yeah, you want to pack activities for them to do, for you to do with them, to spend time with them. Yeah.
Yes.
So next, do yourself a favor and schedule family dinners, if you can. Family dinners in the main dining room or in specialty restaurants are. They're. You have a point?
I do.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can I finish my point first now? Okay.
That's right.
Family dinners are a special event in my opinion, on a cruise ship. It's time to to be together, to bond, to hang out, to enjoy new, different foods without the worry about having to pay for it. It's dinner time. In my opinion, it's special on a cruise ship. So if I could make a recommendation, it would be to do your best to have everybody together for dinner at the very least on sea days. Sometimes it's just not possible other days, but if you don't get back, if Uncle Jimmy and Aunt Linda went on a full day excursion and they don't get back to the ship until 5:30 p.m. And you leave at 6 and you're doing the 6 o'clock early dining, the chances of them making are probably not good. And your point, my love?
Well, my point was especially on a day of excursions, to rebuttal. If everybody does different excursions, you sit down at dinner, even if Uncle Jimmy and Aunt Linda
aren't back yet,
they can still come in late for dinner, because it's not like it's something that it's not like you have to dine and dash type of thing. But to, get to talk to everybody about, what you did that day.
That's true, yeah, what their day was like, what they saw.
That's I know that was on our Canadian cruise, that we didn't always do the same excursions with the family, and we could talk about what we saw and what they, learn about what they saw. So, yes, so it's either way.
Yeah.
Number 19, you're going to want to download the cruise line app for calendars and ship information. You can get excursion information several months ahead of time. Now, know that those can change. If there's a deviation in your ports of call, you'll find that on your app.
Well, that's all very true. The point that I wanted to bring across is having that app can let you know what time, like, if your kids are in the kids club and there's a specific time you have to pick them up by, or you have to have them there by a certain time. All of that calendar information is on that app. Yes, a lot of the cruise lines still do print the daily newsletter, the daily, whatever you want to call it. But more and more are going strictly to the app. So you want to have that app so that and you can mark, when you need to be somewhere, when little Jimmy, not Uncle Jimmy, little Jimmy needs to be at, the kids club scavenger hunt by or whatever. So it's good to have that cruise line app.
Number 20, you're going to want to discuss expectations and communication tips for a smooth family trip.
Yeah.
Case in point, you can't get in touch with, your 18-year-old son who's in another room with your teenagers or teenage cousins, whatever the case may be. Tell them what your expectations are.
Yeah, I expect you to be at dinner every night. I expect, that you come see me first thing in the morning, or whatever those expectations are. We're going to, all right, we get a group of 20. We're not going to try and do anything together except for dinner every night or breakfast every morning. Let's all be there by a certain time, and besides that, go off, do your thing, enjoy your cruise. Set that expectation. Let them know, let everybody be on the same page as to what that trip's going to look like.
And just off the cuff type of thinking here, make it fun, decorate your doors. If you're separated, on the same deck or whatever the case may be, wear shirts that say,
Stevenson Family Cruise 2023. Or Lynch Family Cruise 2023.
Sweet Lord. Anywho, but yeah, make it fun,
Multi-generational cruises can be fun.
Absolutely.
In my opinion, and I think you would agree with me on this for once.
Yeah, he's in a different generation than I am.
They take a little bit more planning forethought a little bit more than just, a cruise for you and your significant other, But that's about all I got.
Yeah,
You got anything
I
else?
think that's all I have to.
Okay. All right. Have a good
Have a
rest of
great
your
night.
day. See ya.